Alrighty, hello, how are you doing everybody? Welcome on in. Today we are going to be doing a quick video on how to farm for sparks. It was brought up in the comments section earlier today, and I figured it would probably be a good, strategy and guide to go over and kind of show how I go about it, and hopefully help some of you guys out with getting the sparks that you're looking for. So to start off, you need the basic understanding of sparks. I'm sure everybody has a pretty basic grasp of how the sparks work and how getting sparks works, but if you do not, here is a pretty bare bones breakdown. When it comes to sparks, especially the blue sparks that everybody's looking for, a key thing to keep in mind is that the percentage chance of the sparks going up depends on what points your stats are at the end of your career. So a 600 in any given stat gives you a 1% chance of getting a 3-star spark in that aptitude. A 1100 in any stat gives you a 2% chance. So keep in mind, you can aim for these, but it's really not going to affect it all that much. It's just, it gives you a chance, so it is important to kind of keep that in mind while you're doing your career. But a good way to avoid worrying about it all that much is to follow the tips that I have here. So, in order to get the sparks that we're looking for, what are the sparks that we're looking for? It's pretty clear to us that nobody's going to be using guts, and wit come naturally. Everybody gets wit sparks. It's kind of a meme online at this point. So the ones that we're aiming for are going to be stamina and power mostly. The reason we're not really including speed in this is because ever since the Kita Sun Black support card dropped, it's pretty easy to max out speed with her on your deck of your support cards. So, keep that in mind. It is possible that we're going to be getting speed sparks anyway, because all of these careers, we're pretty much going to be maxing out speed anyways. So there's going to be a chance of that. And we're just going to try to increase our chance at power and stamina. So what I highly recommend for this is after you've done a couple career run-throughs, and I'm sure that most people have done quite a few by now, we want to kind of narrow down the legacy characters that we're trying to build with the sparks that we're trying to get under those legacy characters. So I like to break it down into 3 categories: sprinters, medium mile, and long distance. So basically what we're going to do is pick a couple of legacy characters that do very easy careers and finish the URA finals consistently in those categories. So for sprinting, I'm going to be picking Sakura Bakushin and Kurin-chan. Sakura Bakushin and Kurin-chan are very easy career run-throughs. I've done A-rank guides with them before, and the reason that we're picking them is because we consistently get A-ranks with them, no problem completing their careers, and getting a max out speed with them of 1200 and a 900 plus in power is relatively easy. Also, naturally, because of the support decks that we choose, their wit are going to get up to around 600-700 within the B to A range. So what does that mean for us? That means every time we complete a career with Sakura Bakushin or Kurin-chan, there's going to be a 2% chance of the speed spark rolling in the 3-star category, and we're going to have a 2% chance of getting a power spark. Now, we're not training these for the speed sparks. We're going to be training them for the power sparks. Sprinter characters are really easy to train power sparks for, and by really easy, I mean comparatively. It is still a very low chance, and it's kind of a roll of the dice, but you can consistently get high power with them, just a lot easier than the other Umas. So what I would do is choose either Kurin-chan or Sakura Bakushin. If you do not have Kurin-chan, you can maybe go for Haru Urura, who also does very easy career playthroughs, or Taiki Shuttle, who also does very easy career playthroughs. So how would I build this Sakura Bakushin? Well, when I pick her legacy character, she's going to have 2 characters of her own. So see how I pick Kurin-chan here? Well, when I got this A-rank Kurin-chan, I used Sakura Bakushin and El Condor Pasa as our support cards. So I get those sparks from those parents. So we have, a 1-star power from the Sakura Bakushin, a 3-star power from the El Conor Pasta, but only a 1 wit from the Kuren-chan. So what I want to do if I'm trying to build a legacy character that's maxing out power sparks is pick a legacy character whose parent, the very first one that we choose in this category right here, has the most power sparks as possible. So I'll sort these by sparks, and then I'll scroll down to power. And you can see here, I have a couple characters with 3-star power sparks. So I'll choose a Tokai Teo. And for my second legacy character, I will choose my Daiwa Scarlet. Now, this build just so happens to work out pretty well that I also get speed sparks. Yours might be kind of spread out. You might have 3-star power, but then 1 wit and 1 guts. And you might have 3 stars power for Daiwa Scarlet, and have 2 stamina and 1 guts in her grandparent legacy there. That is okay, because we're not going to worry about these two or these two. What we're trying to do is get a good power spark on a career playthrough with this Sakura Bakushin and get these power sparks up to a 3, because basically what that means is if I get, with this build, a 3 stars power spark, when I choose another character that I need a 9-star power legacy character for, and I choose this Sakura Bakushin, I'll have a 9-star power legacy character, because she'll be my top one. This Sakura Bakushin we're training now with the 3 stars power, and then her 2 legacies will be the Tokai Teo with 3-star power and the Daiwa Scarlet with 3-star power. And that would ultimately give us a 63 bonus in power, which, that would be from 1 legacy character for 1 Sakura Bakushin. And in this case, we have to have 2 legacy characters to get that 63 bonus. So what you'll want to do is, build those up. If you don't have any good 3-star power sparks under your belt just yet, build some. Get a good Sakura Bakushin build her up to a 3-star power, and yeah, maybe her legacy characters only have 1-star power and 1-star power, but what does that mean? What that means is you can then do a career playthrough with a Kuren-chan and use that Sakura Bakushin and maybe get a good spark with Kuren-chan, and then, when you do a Taiki Shuttle career, you can choose that Bakushin and that Kuren-chan and see how that would start to mean that those sparks are going to stack up. And that's ultimately how you build legacy characters with good sparks. So we're going to go ahead and do a playthrough real quick like this and see if we get a good power spark. So if you want to know how to train this Sakura Bakushin the best way, I would highly recommend taking a look at my A-Rank guide for Sakura Bakushin. Link will be in the description, as that is going to be exactly how we're training her for this. It's going to max out our speed, get our power up to around a 8 to 900 and a 7 to 800 in wit. And that is ultimately what we're aiming for by the end of this career path, to give us good chances at a 3-star power spark. I'm going to fast forward now, and I'll see you at the end of the career. Alright, so there we have it. That was a run through with Sakura Bakushin. Unfortunately, we only got a 1-star Guts, which is unfortunate because we got a 2-star in Sprint Aptitude and a 3-star in Genius Bakushin Victory. You know, these are the ones, these are races, the mile and the URA final, and the Genius Bakushin Victory. These are the specific skills for that character that you're running. So the Genius Bakushin Victory is Sakura Bakushin's special skill, and that's the chance of it being passed down through Legacy. And the Sprint at 2 stars is how it will affect the character who you choose Sakura Bakushin as a Legacy, so their speed, sprint aptitude will increase. We just didn't get lucky. We got 1-star Guts. So we had 260 in Guts, 259 in Stamina, but this is pretty much a solid build for farming power and speed sparks. You do have a chance of getting Wit as well, but getting Wit is, you know, again, it's still a very low chance that you're going to get the sparks that you want in any single aptitude, but the Wit in the Sakura Bakushin's case is relevant to the support cards that we chose for her. So she does have 3 speed and 3 wit cards. So naturally, in order to get the speed up to this and the power up to this, we did have to increase the wit quite a bit, and it gave us a pretty consistent A rank career as we go through them. So, you know, I would do this pretty much over and over again until I got lucky enough to get a good power spark. And then when I chose Sakura Bakushin, if I got a 3-star power spark, I would then have a 9-star power spark Legacy Uma. Now, that is one of the ways to build a good 9-star spark character for power. But what about stamina? Stamina is the other aptitude that people are trying to get sparks for. In order to do so, I would choose a easy, medium, and or long distance racer that we focus on training their stamina, speed, and power with an emphasis on stamina. So in this case, it would be a character such as, I would either do Symboli Rudolph or TM Opera, or maybe even Oguri Cap, who is a medium mile pace late. So if I were to do Oguri Cap, again, I would be training for stamina sparks. Stamina is actually a spark that I don't really have very many of, so my options are quite limited. I only have 2 2-star stamina sparks in Bakushin and Rice Shower. So the same thing like we did for the Sakura Bakushin before is we would choose legacy characters with the highest sparks that we have in that aptitude. So we got 2-star Rice Shower and a 2-star Bakushin in Stamina. So that's 4 already. And then I would start a career path with Oguri Cap and choose legacy cards. For instance, if I were to farm with Oguri Cap, I would most likely go for a, let's see, I would go for a 2-star, or not 2-star, 2 stamina, 1 wit, and 3 speed. And then throughout this career path, I would aim for a maxed out speed and probably around a 700 in power and around an 800 to 900 in stamina if possible. And, you know, just like with the Sakura Bakushin, we would do that over and over and over. So let me go ahead and I'll do one career path with her real quick, and I'll see you at the end there. Alrighty, there we have it. That was a full career playthrough for Spark Farming with Oguri Cap. We managed to get 681 stamina, 644 power, and 849 in speed. Now, throughout this playthrough, we did get a bunch of failed trainings and a bunch of debuffs, but that's fine because we're not aiming for an A rank or any specific race finishes. In fact, we actually didn't even win the URA finals. We got through the semi-finals and failed in the last one, but that is completely okay because what we were aiming for are these stats right here. We ended up getting 1 power spark, so we didn't get the stamina that we were hoping for. But, you know, again, it's RNG. It was very, very unlikely that I'd get the sparks I'm looking for in this career playthrough. But, you know, all in all, we did have the best chance that we can pretty much get for power in the first Sakura Bakushin playthrough, and the best power, and the best chance possible for the stamina sparks in the Oguri Cap playthrough that we did after that. Now, you can do the same thing with any support character or any legacy character, whether you want to train, you know, different long races like Measure McQueen, Top Gun, Gold Ship. You can do all of them. These are just 2 characters that I find the career paths extremely easy for, so they're easy to do farming. So yeah, feel free to give it a shot. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.